If you are treating hair loss right now, there's a very high chance you are doing it wrong. Not completely wrong, but suboptimally. Using the wrong dose, missing key components, or just guessing. Because the real question isn't, does this work? It's, am I getting the maximum possible results from this? So I did something different. I stopped building my own routine and let a company design the entire protocol for me based on my situation. And honestly, some of the decisions they made were more optimized than what I was doing myself. Now for context, I've tried a lot of different approaches over time, including buying from places like MinoxidilMax. And look, their products work, they have interesting formulations, but it always felt like you are on your own. No real medical guidance. You're picking things yourself and hoping it makes sense. And then at some point, they even started accepting Bitcoin payments, which for me personally raised a few red flags. So when Ulo reached out to work together, I was actually curious. Because their whole approach is different. Not just selling products, but building a complete medical guided treatment. Here's the real issue with hair loss. Most people stop at minoxidil works, finasteride works, and that's it. But they never ask, what's the optimal version of this? What combination gives the best possible results? Am I actually maximizing my chances? So you end up with something that works, but not nearly as well as it could. So I went through Ulo's process, answered everything honestly. And instead of just getting products, I got a full protocol. And this is where it gets interesting. Let's start with minoxidil. Most people use 5% minoxidil. That's the standard. And yes, it works, but it's not optimal. What they recommend is minoxidil 7%, which is a higher concentration that tends to show better results. And almost no one is actually using it. But the most interesting part, they combine it with tretinoin, which is what I am using right now. And this actually matters a lot because minoxidil itself isn't the active form. It needs to be converted into minoxidil sulfate in your scalp. And not everyone does that efficiently. Tretinoin helps boost that conversion. So instead of just applying minoxidil and hoping your body processes it properly, you are actively increasing its effectiveness. That's a big upgrade. Then there is DHT. Most people know finasteride. And for many, that's enough. Ulo offers that, but they also offer dutasteride, which is stronger. It blocks more of the enzymes responsible for DHT. So more DHT suppression equals potentially better regrowth. This is especially relevant if your hair loss is more aggressive or you want to push results as much as possible. And again, this is part of the personalization. And this is what stood out to me. None of this is new. I've talked about all of these things before, but I wasn't necessarily combining and optimizing them like this. Most people don't. They just run a basic stack and stay there. So if I compare what I was doing before and what most people do, buy products yourself, experiment, adjust over time, versus this optimized minoxidil 7%, enhanced effectiveness with tretinoin, stronger DHT blockers if needed, everything structured into a plan, it's just more dialed in. And this is where Ulo separates itself. Compared to something like MinoxidilMax, this is medically supervised. It's personalized to your specific case. Products are made in the US with consistent quality, and everything runs through a telehealth system. So you are not just buying products and figuring out yourself. You are following a structured protocol. Now, important, this is not magic. You still need consistency, patience, 3 to 6 months minimum. But what you avoid is running a suboptimal setup for years without realizing it. For me, the biggest takeaway was simple. I wasn't doing things wrong, but I also wasn't doing them as well as I could. So if you already know exactly what you're doing and you have optimized everything, you might not need this. But if you feel like you are still guessing even a little bit, this kind of structured approach can make a real difference. I have put all the ULO links down below in the description in case you want to check it out. Thanks for watching. If you want to see my video about how to use minoxidil with tretinoin, click here. Until next time, I wish you a happy hair journey.